Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of what, Josh?
The Once More for Safety show. Did I get it right? Is it right? Was the show right?
For once, yes, you did get it right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I wrote it down, so I just read it. So cheating.
What is this? What is this show all about? What do we do on this show?
Normally, we just kind of talk about films and the making of films and the different aspects of making a film. But once in a while, we kind of dive off into kind of a different universe, and we talk to actors and actual people and interview them, and that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, we have a very special guest. Puma Green is here to join us. I'm sorry. Schuylar Craig is here. Schuylar, how are you?
I'm good. Don't give out all of my stage names, guys.
So we're gonna talk to Schuylar today about her career here in the Nebraska film scene. And but before we do, we always have a rapid fire lightning segment. Now, Schuylar, we told you a little bit of heads up. We're gonna rapid fire some questions at you. There's 12 in total. You have no idea what's coming. How do you feel about this thing we're about to do?
I'm sweating.
Okay. Well, let's make her sweat some more. Josh, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I always kick this off, Schuylar, with my it's kind of a research question. This is just for my research. So, what is the worst candy on the planet?
Circus peanuts.
What is your favorite scent?
Vanilla and brown sugar.
She might have answered my next question. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Best season and why?
Fall, Halloween.
Correct answer.
That's a great answer. Your go-to karaoke song?
Anything by Bonnie Tyler or anything by Celine Dion.
If you could be an expert in any musical instrument, and maybe you are, I don't know, what would it be?
I can play a little bit of piano, but I wish that I could play the violin. Don't know how.
All right, Schuylar, you're hopping on a plane tomorrow. Where are you going?
Croatia.
If you could have dinner with one person today that you do not personally know, who would it be?
Alan Rickman.
Is he still alive?
You'd have to Weekend at Bernie's in the restaurant.
I think he's dead.
This is a great answer.
Alive or dead.
My last question, Schuylar, is somebody wrote a movie about your life. Who would play you, and what would the title of the movie be?
Who would play me? I don't know if anyone would want to play.
Puma Green.
And the title of the movie would be like, what the hell is happening?
Now, I feel like Josh only asked 4 questions because I still have 2 on my list. So, Josh, you better come up with one more question.
I asked 6 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck.
Yes, fuck you. So, Schuylar, my number 5 question to you is biggest pet peeve.
When people click their pens over and over and over.
Okay, I gotta remember not to do that on set.
I just found the one I skipped. Son of a bitch. Schuylar, what's your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
And the last question, the most important question: ghosts, real or not?
Real.
Why?
Because I've seen them.
Bonus question: why do ghosts wear clothes?
I don't know. Free will.
All right, thank you, Schuylar, for participating in our rapid fire round robin. Yes, grab a towel and dab yourself off. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about your career in the Nebraska film scene. So I'm just going to throw a softball out there for you right away. Let's go all the way back to little girl Schuylar.
Okay.
Right? Way back in the day. What made you want to get into sort of like the creative arts and acting and things of that nature?
So when I was a kid, I actually did commercials for PBS. So I was always kind of like a film. I was like a child star. No, I'm just kidding. But I did do that for a little bit, and then I was in theater a lot, and then in community theater as well. So I knew that I always wanted to be on stage, like center, front and camera, always playing with, our own video camera at home. I was just theatrical from the get-go. So knew that I was just always going to fall into these lines.
How'd you get into the PBS?
Yeah.
Commercial stuff. Let's dive into that.
Yeah.
It was weird. They showed up at our school and just asked for kids that wanted to audition, and I was probably first in line. And then my mom was like, "Oh my God, what did I get her into?" And it was just a whole thing. But
How old were you when?
Oh God, probably like 6, 7, 8. I mean, it ran for a few years.
Interesting. So what is, you get that initial drive. You just said, "Oh, I was first in line. I wanted to audition." What do you think what is it inside of you that wants to be in front of a camera and on stage?
I was just always like very emotionally expressive and so much energy as a kid that just had to do something with it. And I was creative and vocal and loud and funny. And I think it just kind of clicked. My parents gave me a video camera and they're like, "Here you go. Like, make movies." And I was outside just filming the sky because I was obsessed with the weather all the time. And I was pretending that I was like a meteorologist on Channel 8 News. I wanted to be Ken Shimmick so bad when I grew up.
What was the when you went on your first audition for theater, because they're completely different than a film audition, kind of what was the feeling going in? What made you kind of want to go, I want to audition for this specific show? What was the show?
Okay, so the first one I can think of was Kilroy Was Here. It was a really small production that we did back home in my hometown. And it was just a bunch of kids in the summer, and we were all on stage, and it was so much fun. I did Bugsy Malone, Oklahoma, Alice in Wonderland.
Who were you in Bugsy Malone? I did Bugsy Malone. Who were you in Bugsy Malone?
I was, oh my gosh, I was one of the flapper girls, and then I had a name. I don't remember the name. I'd have to go back and look, but I did a lot of the dancing sequences because I just wanted to shimmy and shake in those dresses.
Yeah. So you walk into your first audition for theater. What was that process kind of like? Nerve-wracking?
Not when you're a kid, nothing scares you. So honestly, I was just there because my friends were there. I wanted to have fun and do something, on stage. And I don't know. I don't think I ever really had nerves when I was a kid. You just kind of go in head first thinking like, this is going to be amazing. You're hanging out with your friends and new people that you meet over the summer. And no, I don't know. I don't think I was nervous at all. I just wanted to have fun and wanted to sing and dance. And that's what I did.
I have a question about the early years when you're doing auditions for stage and stuff like that. A lot of the people that we've talked to kind of got into this sort of stuff later on in life, right? They weren't sort of in it from the very beginning as a kid. How do you deal with sort of like, hey, I'm a kid, I'm going to go in, I'm going to audition, I want this role, but then you sort of get, no, you're not selected. We're going with someone else. How do you deal with like rejection of that kind of stuff at a young age as compared to older now?
Yeah, so I think in one of the plays, and I don't remember which one. It was not one of the ones I did like right at the beginning. It was kind of later on. And then when we kind of went into like choir and we did these big musicals and stuff like that, you do audition for roles that you think would be really fun or like more your personality, something you've never done before, and then you don't get them and you'll get a different role or get casted as the ensemble. And honestly, like the initial sting hurts, like, oh, why did I get selected? But then it doesn't really matter because you kind of see it come together. You're a part of the team anyways, and you end up having a good time. I think when you're a kid, it can be kind of painful at first, but you're over it in like 24 hours, and you just you have more fun because you're just with your friends, you get to sidetracked it. And so I don't know. I don't think I really had like, I mean, I probably did. I was an overreactor, so I probably like cried when I didn't get like the one role that I wanted. But I think
When you
it
see sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you see somebody, like, let's say you're up against somebody else, you're the final two, and a director or a stage director says, "Oh, we're going with this other person," right? And
yeah.
maybe you're still part of the whole process. Do you ever look at that other person when they're acting and be like, "I could have done better than this"? Like the director picked the wrong person, like in your head internally.
I think everyone has a little bit of like competition, but no, I always just try to be like happy for people. And most of the people that I was going up against were my friends. So I didn't want to be like, I should have got that role, because that's just not something I would have done. I don't know. No, I was just there to have a good time. It was I don't know. It was not super serious, and it was kind of fun, really. So I was really just there to be with my friends and expel energy.
Do you do that to yourself, Schuylar? Do you watch your own films and go, I wish I could have done this better. I wish I would have tried that. Or
What
do you,
actor doesn't? Hell yeah, of course they do. Half the time I don't even watch any of the shit that I've been in because I just critique it so bad.
yeah. So when did you start like decide that you wanted to kind of transition from doing like stage work to audition for your first film?
Oh, I had moved to Lincoln and was just looking for something fun to do. So I saw this casting call come up, and I was like, wow. I mean, this was like way back in like 2015, and it was Dustin Ferguson, actually. He put out a casting call, and I responded to it, and I was like, this could be fun, and it was. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of took off from there. It was crazy how that happened, actually.
What was the film and what was the kind of the experience like? And did you kind of think it was going to be like? Was it like how you thought it was going to be?
Yes and no. I had never done anything horror based before, but I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. Have watched a million horror films. I first in line to go watch any of the new ones. And so when I saw that it was for a horror film, I like had my teeth sunk in it. I was like, I gotta be in this. Like, it's gonna be so cool. And then when you get there and you have this idea of like what you think like a movie set's gonna look like, and really we're just like in some park in Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, like you're with a bunch of really amazing actors, and like the crew and everyone is amazing. And so you don't even, it like doesn't even bother you after a while. But no, it was really fun. The movie was shockumentary. It was kind of like an anthology of horror things thrown together. I don't even remember. I think my name was actually my name in the film. They didn't even give me like another name. But no, it was fun. It set me up for what to expect for other films, and kind of like just like low budget films and this horror genre category, before I started doing other things later on in my career. But no, it was a good time.
So let's talk about the transitions. Obviously, the first time you're on a film set. What would you say was the best experience being on a film for the first time, and the worst experience being on a film for the first time?
I think working with new people, like you on stage when you're doing like stage plays, you work with people I mean, these are people that you probably worked with before, have known for a really long time. When you start a new film, these are all brand new people that you've never met before. So the way that like stage acting and then film acting kind of merged inside me, it was interesting because you kind of have to show up and know your lines like right away. And so that was interesting to me because I was like, oh, I can't just like read them like from like my script. No, you have to actually like know your lines. So that was cool because I got to meet a bunch of new people. I don't really have anything bad to say. I just always had a really good time on set. I would say the only thing that would suck would be the weather, because the weather here is so unpredictable that you just like never know it could be like 110, or it could be
It's
like
trash. Nebraska weather's trash. I hate
literally.
it.
So you
It's
gotta
garbage.
prepare for that.
So one of the things that I like to talk to actors about, because I've obviously worked with a number of actors who are acting on a film for the first time, and the culture shock that they seem to have is they don't think it's going to be as boring when they get on. So they think it's awesome. It's all, yeah, we're going to work all the time. Go, 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 go. And then the actors realize, wait a minute, setting up shots and doing all this, and it just takes forever. It just seems to go on and on and on. Did you sort of have that same experience as well on your first film, or was it just kind of like, nope, go, 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 boom, it's done? Or is it like one of my films where, 1,000 angles and it takes 10 hours to be able to get a single scene done?
So, Dustin Ferguson, he works very quickly. So it was like bing, bang, bong. Like we were done in a few hours, and honestly, like I wasn't in all the scenes. So really it didn't take like an all day excursion for me, but no, it was quick and it was fast. It was fun. Yeah, working on set with you is like watching molasses harden.
That hurts, Schuylar. That hurts.
Well, honestly,
never casting you in anything ever again.
It makes for beautiful cinematography, but half the time I'm just like, oh my god, I want to go home so bad.
Josh, would you like to jump on and pile on me like she is?
No, because everything I throw out, it just gets thrown back at me 10 times harder, so I'll shut up now.
Yeah, and I think so jumping off on this, and you've worked with a number of different people here in the Nebraska film scene. So what is your preference? Like as an actor, do you prefer to sort of like just shoot stuff and get things done as quickly as possible? Do you prefer it to take longer? Because I'm notorious for it taking a long time, because in my head, the reason why it takes a long time is because I like to get as many angles as possible, many takes as possible, because the more takes that an actor gets, the better their performance is going to be. And then when I'm in the editing room, it gives me more flexibility to be able to put it together into put the actor in the best position possible to succeed, is what my job is as a director, in my opinion. So that's why I'm always like, we got to go again. How do you prefer to work as an actor? Would you rather
No, I don't. I'm like with you. I would rather have a million different takes for you to choose from than just like one or two really shitty ones that we have to choose from. Like, obviously, I'm going to sit there and complain, Matt, like, oh my God, this is taking 5,000 years. But it's worth it in the end because just the way that we have all these angles, the way that, we read our lines, interact with the other person. You've literally filmed with me. You know how many times I fuck up a line, how many times I laugh during a take. So I need that time to get it right, because otherwise I'm just going to be like watching it later and be like, why did you choose that? Oh, because there were only 2 takes to choose from, so that was the best one. Not my cup of tea. I understand that people work that way, and some people really like it that way. I tend to just take my time and do it thoroughly. That's what I prefer.
One of the best things about working with you, and I'm going to give you some props here, is Josh and I in a previous show we were sort of talking about casting. We went through the casting process and how we make a determination as to who we bring on our film sets and put in what roles. And one of the great things about you is that I think the first time you ever auditioned, whichever film that may have been back in the day, like you always have a smile on your face, you're always high energy, and you're always like you said, like you will laugh a lot and okay, cut, we got to redo the retakes, but that keeps the energy on set high, right? Because if you just surround yourself with people who are just Debbie Downers constantly bitching about how long it takes and all that stuff. When you do bitch at me about how long it takes, it's with a smile and a fun tone. It's not like, you motherfucker, what are you doing? I want to go home.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that about you.
I'm going to laugh while I'm saying it so that you know that I'm like half.
But so I have worked with you, and I'm going back to see which was the first film that I worked with you on. Was it Blood Model?
Blood Model. It was Blood Model.
Tell us a little bit about your experience working on Blood Model.
Oh man, I loved Blood Model. I got to play Abigail. She was this funny, crazy, artsy lesbian, and we just loved her. She was super fun. Actually, I really liked working on that film because we had such cool locations and we had great actors in that film. And working with you on that, obviously I didn't even know you, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I thought, we had a really good time on set, even though we were there for like really long hours in Omaha at that one art exhibit.
Hot Shops, yeah.
Yes. No, it was a good time. I had a lot of fun, and Blood Model was the first one we ever worked on together. So.
And why did you come back for more?
Well,
why did you continue to audition?
Yeah. Well, it's not because I like you or anything, No, I mean, I thought we had a really good time. We meshed well. I liked your directing style and the way that everything was written and everything was done really professionally. Everyone acted really professional on set, like the crew, the cast, and we all really just had good energy. That's like, I don't know. You gotta, like you said, you don't want Debbie Downers on your set, and I just thought we all had a really good time. So I was like, yeah, I can come back and do more of this. So, plus you would cast certain people in movies, and I always wanted to work with them. So then I would audition so that I could work with them. So that was kind of cool.
Okay. Anybody in particular?
So I have always had a girl crush on Roxy Rowan, and you had her in Apartment 701. And then I got to be Jenny, and so that was really fun because I was just like, I couldn't even get through my scenes because I was just like watching her the whole time like a creep. I'm so sorry. Roxy, I'm sorry.
Now, okay, talk a little bit about your experience on The Apartment. What was it like? How is that different from Blood Model? Other than you just sort of like your tongue out with Roxy the entire time.
Wow, I'm gonna regret saying that. She's probably gonna think I'm a crazy person, but I don't care. She's amazing. She was an amazing actress on that set, and I enjoyed every second of watching everybody on that set. I mean, even Jenny Caroline had that little clip at the end. Oh my god, like,
that's so funny.
She's amazing. I love her so much. But no, it was fun because here we are in this apartment with this couch and just all this crazy shit's happening. And I got to like drink beer on set. I'm sober now, but like back then that was cool. And I got to like run down the hallway and do all this crazy stuff. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed working on that set. Did it take a couple of days, or did we do it like all in?
Yeah, it was 2 days, I think. It was a Friday and a Saturday because we were supposed to shoot a Western on Sunday, and then we got rained out because there was that horrible storm. Remember?
Yeah,
that horrible storm. The apartment was definitely an interesting experience, and for those who are interested, Mark Popejoy, who is the producer of The Apartment as part of the Chills Down Your Spine, he's now re-edited The Apartment into Chills Down Your Spine, so that'll be up on Amazon at some point, so you guys will be able to go check that out. Josh, I'll toss it to you for a question. I've been talking. I love to talk, as Schuylar probably knows. I just talk and talk and talk and talk. So I'm going to throw it to Josh so I don't leave him in the dark here.
I love to listen, so this is working out really great. I guess, Schuylar, I like to talk about characters and the different kind of characters that actors play. So kind of a multi-tiered question. What is your favorite role you've ever played? And what kind of characters do you usually get cast as? And what kind of character that have you not played that you'd like to play? I just threw a bunch at you, and I'm sorry.
You want to add a few more onto that, Josh?
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
So, I was talking to Matt about this actually, when he asked me to do this. So I think my favorite role to date, I don't know, I kind of have a couple, but, okay, I'll do two because one of them is an unreleased film, and we talked about that. But playing the demon bride in Corruptor, that Dorothy Borum and Chad made. I think you know who I'm talking about clearly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that was kind of a really cool role. Just because like there was so much going on, it was crazy, and then there was all this blood, and it was just like I had to do it for a day, and then I was like done, and it was amazing. But working with them,
I remember that was the one and only time I've ever worked with you. I was on
yes,
that set for
it
that
was
one day, and just remember being like just amazed by all the shit that you had to kind of do for that role. It was a lot of fun to watch.
It was crazy. I had to learn like a whole made up language, and and Dorothy was so sweet. She was like, here's a totally other language that we're gonna have you learn, and you have to know it like by tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, awesome." No, but she was great, and she helped me through it. And she was like, "Yeah, you're literally gonna be like crazy and all this makeup, and we're gonna put these contacts on you, and you're gonna like stab this doll, and you're gonna bleed everywhere, and also it's like 10 degrees outside, and we're doing it in a basement." So no, it was a really, really fun experience, to be honest. So either that, or I had told Matt about this movie. It's we filmed it, oh my gosh, it was probably like in 2016, 2017. It's an indie film. It's called Free. It was written and directed by Ishma Valenti, and it's a mid 1800s what I don't want to say like it's not like really a documentary, but he had written some of it from historical views, and then from, I think, from some personal views. And it was about slavery and the Underground Railroad in the Midwest. So I was cast as Madam Cartwright, and she is not a great person. She sucks, and I mean her character sucks. The writing was amazing, and she was a very difficult role to play. I like a challenge. I did not like being hated on set. No, I'm just kidding. Most of the people on set were amazing. They know that, this is really uncomfortable territory when you're filming this kind of a movie, but the way that they wrote it and filmed it, it was fantastic and just stunningly beautiful and extremely informative too, historically wise. And I'm sad that it's not released. I did ask him about it. He said that he had some other things that he had to do first, but maybe there could be some scenes, some releasement, maybe in the future. But so Nick Goodwin did the cinematography, so he does some stuff here in Lincoln, and there were some amazing actors on that set. But that role, it has a special place in my heart because we worked on it for like 2 years, and it was really tough emotionally, and but you got to work with some amazing actors, and especially local. So that was really cool. Just to kind of see all that blend together. I am talking a lot. Please stop me.
Well, I actually was going to jump in there and ask you, because I think this is an interesting thing. We actually haven't talked to any actors about this yet, but the idea that you do all this work, but then the film doesn't get released, right? Because
Yeah.
there's multiple films and multiple filmmakers. I have films that I haven't released, right? So it's like, from an actor's perspective, how does that kind of how does that make you feel when you put all this time, energy, and effort into it, and then for whatever reason, whether it's just the director doesn't want to release it or there's outside circumstances that prevent it from being released, how do you deal with the fact that it never gets seen?
Yeah, it hurts, but here's the deal. This topic is very sensitive, and I understand why in the moment Ishmael wouldn't want to release it. I think our country was going through some things at the time. I'm not going to bring it up because we already know what I'm talking about. We don't have to recap that.
Sure,
So
yeah.
there was a time and place for it to be released, and I think at the time that it was finished, and then whether they had to go back and work on some things in, you know, the editing room or whatever. It just, there wasn't ever an appropriate time for it to be released. So I think from like an actor's perspective, it's kind of disappointing because you want to see your work being put out there. This, I mean, I just was captivated by like this beautiful writing and this beautiful story. Even though like literally I'm a villain in this film, but that was the whole point, was to show, you know, this other side of the film, and then all of a sudden it wasn't released. But I think as an actor, you have to respect the director's decision on when they want to release something, and especially since it was kind of a sensitive issue. I think we all kind of understood that, so we're just letting it take a back seat for now, and whenever he's ready to release it, I think we'll always be supportive of him, and we'll be able to support it then. So
And just kind of segueing from that, because I think that's a really interesting answer, and I appreciate that that you gave that answer, because I know as a director myself, you know, getting, for example, I have a movie, A Return of the Robo Mummy from Outer Space Part 7, and I constantly get people, when's this movie coming out? We filmed this in 2017. When's
right.
this movie coming out? When's this movie coming out? Like, it'll come out when it's done, when I'm ready to release it. And I'm
Yeah.
cognizant as a director of how, you know, an actor, you know, they're so excited about the project, and it's like, why? I want to be able to show everybody like what I did in this thing. And you know, it's just weird because it's like different, you're pulling from different directions. Actors are looking at something from one perspective, the director is looking at it from a completely different perspective, and sometimes those things don't line up perfectly at the time everybody wants them to line up. So I am definitely cognizant of that, and I appreciate your answer for that.
Yeah.
As an actor, do you ever feel, and this might be in sort of like a category, if you don't want to answer this, is totally cool, but do you ever feel as an actor that, you know, you go and you work on something, whether it's my films or anybody else's films, and you're just like, whether it was the director didn't direct you the right way or the shots weren't selected the right way, that you're just kind of like, I don't know if embarrassment would be the word, but like you don't feel like that's the best representation of what you could have done, and then it's getting out there for everybody to see. Do you ever feel as an actor that there's a downside to not putting you in the best position possible to succeed, if that makes sense? Like if you have something, you're like, I was bad in this, but everybody's seeing it now, and now everyone's seeing me act very poorly in this. How do you negotiate those kind of feelings?
Well, once it's out there, it's out there. Not much you can do about that. I think like bringing more attention to it makes it worse. So I just,
That's
if I,
true.
well, I mean, if I think that I did something bad, like whether it was a take or like a whole character or a whole movie, I mean, obviously that sucks. If I think that way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is going to think that way. I mean, some people might, whatever. You know, like there's not much that you can do about it now. I think the only thing you can do is like don't do that again. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But like learn from, you know, your
Yeah.
mistakes, and like just keep that in mind for the next time that you want to audition for something. Like maybe the role wasn't right for you. There's been a few movies where I'm just like, why did I take that role? Because it's not me at all, you know? And I'm just like, maybe that my performance wasn't the best because I'm not in the role that best suited me or that I'm the most comfortable performing in. So I guess I kind of
That's
tied
interesting.
back with Josh's question about like something that I've never done before. Um, I've never done a comedy, like an actual straight up comedy. I've only done like I've done like sci-fi, I've done like thriller horror films, obviously drama or historical period. But I've never actually done like a physical comedy. I think it would be really fun. Since a lot of my roles tend to be more of the witty, funny banter kind of little, you know, saucy number who she just like shows up and makes everyone laugh and has a couple of good one-liners. So I've never done any comedy before, but I think that would be really fun to do. So
I think he'd be great at comedy. And I think, Josh, didn't Jenny say the same thing, that she wanted to be in a comedy? That was one
Yeah,
of the things that she wanted to be in.
yeah.
And what I will say is, like, I think your comedic skills are fantastic. And I will let everybody in on a funny little anecdote at an audition for a movie that involves puppets, and your character really likes chocolate. And I will
yeah.
say, you showed up at the audition, and it was just so fucking hilarious. I'm just like, I cannot believe it's like when the director is laughing, because that's a big problem. Whenever I have comedy in my movies, like, I have to set up the camera, I hit record, and I walk away because I will start laughing behind the camera. And then DJ is sitting there with the boom mic, and he looks at me. He's like, "God damn, cut, Matthew, stop laughing!" And you're one of the few people that when I'm on set with you, consistently, I'm always laughing. I remember it happened when you played the Oracle for in Road Trip, and you're just, I mean that was a comedic role because you're supposed to sort of be this comedic thing there.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your experience as the Oracle in Road Trip.
Oh my god, I loved that role. She was so cool. That was probably one of the coolest roles I've ever done. She was actually kind of like the comedic relief to like the comedy that was already going on, but there was also a lot going on. So, but no, that was fun. We had a good day that day. I think everyone was just in a good mood. You know, the jokes were just popping off left and right at the right time. I remember we couldn't get through like one scene, and oh my gosh, I don't even remember who was all there that day, but we were getting yelled at. We were like, they were like, "Please shut the fuck up and let's finish this," like, because we were just wasting
Yeah,
time.
I
But
know Mark. I know Mark because
well,
obviously
Mark
Mark was a
tends
producer of
to
this.
like get on my back. He'll be like, "Oh my god, please get it together!" Like,
Yes. Well, I
I love
remember there
him,
being.
Mark, but he's always just like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, we're doing this again?" Like, but he's great.
Mark's
He's always
incredible. I
he is.
remember one particular sequence in that where I don't know if it was an ad lib or what, but we kept having you say, "So don't fuck it up," and you started screaming at Steve to "Don't fuck it up" over and over and over. And I remember Mark was like in the living room, whatever, and he was just rolling his eyes. He's like, "Let's go!" Like, how many more times? I'm like, it's gonna be because you kept blowing out the mic. And so we had
Well,
to keep resetting over and over and over.
yeah. So sorry, Mark.
It was fun. It was fun.
He'll have to
Back
get
to you,
over it.
Josh.
Yeah, so this is
Sorry,
like
Josh.
it's just interesting because like I haven't gotten to work with Schuylar obviously as much as you. I just worked with her that one day on that one film, so I don't have like tell her about this experience on this film that we worked on together because I haven't done that. So I guess Schuylar, what would be a film that you've been in that's been released that you would direct people towards? That this is the best performance I've ever done. This is the best character I've ever played. This is my go-to if I'm going to give everybody the one thing that I want them to see.
Oh. Well, okay. So I will say this because it was a really fun movie to make. Was it my best performance? Probably not. But that's okay. We had a timeline that we had to stick to. There was a lot of stuff that went into it. There was a lot of stuff that happened during it. But I think most people, if they would Google my name, the first thing that would come up would be Nemesis 5. And that's that's a movie that I worked with Dustin, and Mark was actually a producer on that movie too. It was kind of cool because it was really a different genre other than horror, which I'm used to doing with Dustin. It was kind of more of like this cool, like futuristic sci-fi. I get to like kick people's asses and fight for like the freedom of the earth, sort of a thing. And I got to be Ari Frost, and she is just this kick-ass little thing, and she basically learns everything from her predecessor. So obviously, like Nemesis 2 through 4, which had Sue Price in it, and so I got to be on set with her, and she's just a dream. She's amazing. So I got to work with some really cool people. I also got to work with Mel Novak and Crystal Milani, Edwin Garcia, and then the choreography. We learned like how to do a ton of martial arts like 6 months before we started filming this, and so I felt like I could finally like protect myself. If I ever needed to, I could just like jujutsu their ass, and it was amazing. So, but I would tell people to watch it because honestly, it's a good movie. It's fun. The the cast was great, and I look really cool in my outfit. No, I'm just kidding. But
I think it's on Tubi, right? I think the
yeah,
viewers can go check it out on
it,
Tubi if you want to watch it.
Did you
so
shoot that, Schuylar? Were you in Nebraska or California when you shot that?
I was in Nebraska. So
Nebraska.
yeah, so I was here. Mel and Donna actually flew from Cali to here to finish it. So that was kind of cool. I got to meet them. And Jenny was also in that. So I got to be with her in that movie. And so I love working with her. So she's amazing. And no, it was really fun. It's actually like probably one of my favorite movies to just like actually watch of myself because it just has some good one-liners, and it's just fun to watch us like run around and kick ass, and we're, like fighting off cyborgs, and it's just kind of a fun, it's different than something that I've normally done in film. So it was really fun to make, and I really had a good time with everybody on that set.
So let's segue to something a little bit different.
Okay.
How do you feel? What do you feel is the main difference between filming in Nebraska now, like the micro budget film scene here now in 2022, going into 2023, as compared to sort of when you first started back in the 2014, 2015 time period?
It depends on who you're working with. I think people now take a little bit more time to plan things out and really make it what they want to make it, versus just like someone came up with an idea and tomorrow we're going to film it in my backyard, which is
Guilty.
fine if that's something that you want to do. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's evolved a little bit more because people are realizing that better production and more money, more investments, those kinds of things, they take a long time, for that kind of reward at the end of filming, and it takes a while to edit and put, if you're going to put music to it and get licenses and stuff like that. So I think just timing, it's different now than it was back then, where people were just kind of doing it on their own, and then all of a sudden they were like, okay, well, wait, I want to do like this big budget movie. Well, there's a million hoops that you have to jump through before you can kind of get to that. So
Matt, you kind of brought up a good point when we talked to Jenny as well about, like, do you feel, Schuylar, that there's like this kind of, I guess, rift between Lincoln and Omaha as far as filmmaking goes? Like, you know what I mean? We
yeah,
talked about this a little bit with Jenny.
yeah, I know. I watched her interview, so I do kind of understand a little bit what she's saying. I think it's not really much of a rift, I would say. I think it's just a lot of people from down here. We kind of flock together, and so when we try to branch out, I think people are just unfamiliar with the Lincolnites, so they don't come to us as much unless you have worked with people from Omaha before. Then it's kind of different, but it is a little bit more difficult, I think, for people from Lincoln to find roles in Omaha, just because I think they want people that are local, and I understand that. But there's a lot of amazing actors here, so don't sleep on us because.
How do you find roles? Like as an actor, if you're
Right.
like, man, I'm really interested. Like, let's say I have a film,
Yeah.
or Josh has a film, or somebody from Lincoln has a film. How do you find out about it? Like, what's the
Well,
easiest way for you to learn about that kind of
Matt,
stuff?
I just stalk your Facebook page until you post something, and then I'm just
Fair.
There are a lot of groups on Facebook. Actually, I'm not lying. There are a lot of groups on Facebook that are oriented towards actors, filmmakers, crew, set, writers, things like that. So that's a good place to start. If you're looking like actively for roles that are happening right now. Otherwise, okay, I know that people don't post on Craigslist anymore, but like they did that back in the day. I'm sure there are there are other sites, on the internet where they post that they're looking for people. Otherwise, word of mouth is always a good thing. People post stuff online on their Facebook, Instagrams, Twitter, things like that. So I think it's just kind of like if you know this, like certain people, and you know that they're going to be filming something, or they know people who know that are going to be filming something. Word of mouth also happens too. So like I'll hear about something from Jenny every so often. She'll be like, "Hey, did you see that this one is happening?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, but I'm busy, then so I can't, But when you have a lot of friends that you've worked with and people that you've worked with before in this industry, they talk about what they're going to be auditioning for, or if you're going to be auditioning for it, so you just kind of keep in contact that way too. But
have you ever gotten a script sent to you, Schuylar, and you just been like, no, like I'm not doing this? Like you read it and you're just like, this sucks, I'm not doing it.
Every script I send her, Josh.
Yeah, literally.
I have to convince her.
I already know the answer. I already know the answer to this question.
I just cross out what he's written and then write my own line. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. He does a good job. I do I think it depends on the character. There have been films where I look at a line and I'm like, there's no way, in the depths of hell would I ever say that? Would that ever come out of my mouth? And it wasn't anything bad. It was just that's not how I talk. So how am I going to act that if I don't even say that in real life? I'm not going to say that. So I just kind of say, hey, I'm going to change this line just a little bit, tweak it to be more my personality, because then it's going to come off more natural, and then it's not going to look like it was forced in this film. So
do you prefer directors who kind of micromanage is probably the wrong word, but I've worked with a number of actors in the past, and sometimes every actor has a different way that they want to quote unquote be directed. So some actors really sort of hands-on. They want the director to kind of micromanage how they should speak in this role, like in this particular scene, the tone, the actions that they should do when you yell cut. Give me feedback. They want the director to sort of tell them what they need to improve. And then there's other actors who are just kind of like, I just want the basic idea of what you want and let me roll with whatever I want. And then I'll only change if you tell me, Schuylar, you need to mellow out here. bring it down, Schuylar, or bring it back up. How do you prefer to be directed as an actor?
If what I'm doing sucks, tell me. Honest to God, though. If it's not going to look good, why would you just keep going? No, for real. Tell me.
It gets to putting the actors in the best position possible to succeed, right? It all gets back to it's the director's responsibility, in my opinion. I've always been of the viewpoint that if you watch a movie and you're like, that actor sucked, they're terrible in that movie, it's not the actor's fault. It's the director who refused to, the director should, number one, identify that that's not working, and the director should tell them that it's not working, and they should try to, rework it so that it is, because you don't want, because we all become friends on these film sets, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing with the micro budget film scene. We all become good friends with each other, and it's I don't want to film Schuylar and put her in make her look terrible and then put her up there for everybody to see. I'd feel bad as a friend. I would just feel terrible.
Honestly, I'm the kind of person that's going to tell you that you have spinach in your teeth, and I would expect that you do the same to me, only I'm acting in your film and I'm doing a really shitty job, and you're going to tell me that I'm doing a really shitty job. I think it's one of those things that, if I'm not doing it the way that you envisioned it, then I'm not doing it right. And so just give me some feedback. Like, be like, hey, loosen up, the tone isn't there. The word cadence isn't there. Like, slow down. I'm a very fast talker, so I can run through lines really, really quickly. And so if I need to slow down, then you just have to be like, yo, we're going to do that again. And you're going to talk at like half the speed that you were talking, because otherwise we're going to be done in this film in like 30 minutes. So I would rather have that feedback than not, because otherwise I'm going to look back at that movie later and be like, why the hell didn't Matt tell me that I literally looked like shit, So
You pissed me off, and this was my revenge. No, and I think that's a really good thing for especially new directors. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you're thinking about becoming a director, you got to have open lines of communication with your actors. You have to have that sort of rapport back and forth. I, for one, Schuylar might disagree with this, but I, for one, am not like a tyrant. I'm not like, you must do it the exact way I want, blah, 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 blah. You got to let my motto, never stifle creativity. If Schuylar has a great way that she wants to do it, like, let the actors do that. Work with the actors. Get a take of the way that maybe Matt wants it, and then a take of the way that maybe Schuylar wants it. And you'll find out in the editing room very quickly, oh shit, I would never admit this to Schuylar to her face, but she was actually right. And I think I'll use that take for the final edit. Because I would never want to give her the satisfaction of knowing that she was correct.
Never. It's hard because when you're in front of the camera and you're acting, you think that you look a certain way. And it's almost easier to like be told by someone who's looking opposite of what you're looking at, because that's what they're going to see. So it's helpful and informative to us as actors to know what the hell you're talking about. Like, if you tell us like, hey, this isn't working out, and we're like, okay, well, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm literally doing it like the same time over and over and over. We kind of have to almost like stand in your shoes for a second and see how it's been done to be like, oh, that's what you mean. Like, okay, now I'm going to change this up, and then it ends up working. So
yeah, sometimes you just have to show the actor, like, here's playback. This is what it looks like, and this is why it's not working, and we gotta fix it. But Josh, any other questions you got?
The only other thing that I have lined up, if you don't have any other questions, Matt, is what's next for you, Schuylar, as far as the acting world goes? What are you doing?
For now, no, because I just work a really cool 9-to-5 job, just out here adulting like the boss I am. But no, I don't know. It's been a little dry lately. Haven't really done anything for a hot minute, and that's okay. Sometimes you just got to take a break. And
with COVID and stuff, that really killed a lot of this acting stuff for a while.
It did. But now we're kind of, getting back to, I don't want to say normal because this place isn't normal, but we're getting back to being a little bit more comfortable after all that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some other things to pop up here and there. So, but I'm really excited to see what's next.
So if a director is watching this, whether it be in Omaha, Lincoln, or somewhere else around here, how would they get a hold of you? How could they find Schuylar Craig and be like, hey, here's an audition notice? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably Facebook. Just search my name, it'll come up. So yeah, either word of mouth, Facebook, or my email.
Sounds good. Are there any final thoughts that you would like to convey, Schuylar? The floor is yours. Anything you'd like to say?
Geez, I could just go on forever, but I won't. So no, thank you guys for having me. It was really fun. I'm glad that we finally got to catch up after all this time, and yeah, it's been a really good time talking with you guys, and I hope everyone really likes this video.
Cool. Well, thank you for popping on. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I love having you on set. And I will absolutely, any directors out there who are watching this, I will absolutely vouch for Schuylar on set. She's amazing. She's incredible. Great personality. Definitely someone that you want to have on set. And she's a trooper. She'll go through a lot of hell and a lot of takes over and over and over again.
Get the right one, I will. Yep.
Cool. With that, Josh, you want to take us out?
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Once More for Safety.
And cut.
And we're out.